it's a Sketchbook here and welcome back to a new video. Now there has been some big news in the luxury SUV market with the launch of the 2021 Cadillac Escalade that goes on sale this third quarter of 2020 in North America, and it has been, they say, completely redesigned for an improved driving experience and better passenger and cargo capabilities. So it's a complete redesign, but the Escalade volumes and boxiness is definitely still there. And there is a problem with this. There are a few features with this design that once you see them, they can't really be unseen. I'll go into detail of what these are a little later in this video. So I made a redesign of the Escalade last summer, I think it was in June or July. And this is the redesign that I made, and it's kind of funny to see how close I was to the actual official Escalade that they just released. But at the same time, Cadillac right now, they have a pretty strong brand identity, so it was pretty easy to figure out what the new Escalade will look like. It's basically just a bigger size of the smaller SUVs that they already have. But before we dive into the design talk about the Escalade, I want to talk about the spec and the tech of the new 2021 Escalade. The main talking point in the interior of the Escalade is the industry first curved OLED display. This offers more than 38 inches of total diagonal display area with twice the pixel density of a 4K TV and the largest color range of any automotive display in production today. The system is actually built up by three screens: a 7.2-inch diagonal touch control panel driver information center on the left side of the driver, a 14.2-inch diagonal cluster display behind the steering wheel, and a 16.9-inch diagonal infotainment screen to the driver's right side. The OLED is paper thin, and its curvature positions the displays for optimal visibility towards the driver, of course. There are many new vision-oriented features in the 2021 Cadillac Escalade, including all new augmented reality-enabled navigation, which uses live street views to enhance the driving direction. So it works like this: you're driving along, you don't have to look at any screens away from the road. Instead, the GPS or the navigation projects arrows onto the head-up display that you're already looking at to kind of show you in real time where to turn. It's pretty cool. It also has surround vision, a standard feature that employs 4 exterior cameras to provide a 2-megapixel bird's eye view of the scene around the vehicle. It also comes available with a trailering integration package, which offers up to 9 camera views, including rear camera guidelines to support easier hitching. The package also includes an integrated trailer brake controller and a trailering app that offers trailer profiles, tire pressure, and temperature monitoring, and an extended side blind zone alert, which can be very useful if you're using a trailer, of course. It also comes with a rear camera mirror. This is something that we've seen before, and this is the feature where the inside mirror actually is a display, and you have a camera that streams a live view from the behind instead of you looking at the mirror and then reflecting the rear. So it's, you get a clear vision and not any obstructions from the seats and everything that's behind you as a driver. It also comes with a night vision, an available feature that uses infrared technology to enhance forward visibility, including detection of pedestrians and large animals projected on the center cluster display. I think this was first seen in the Mercedes S-Class of 2010 or something like that, so it's not really new, but it's cool that you can get it in the Escalade now. The rear seat entertainment features a pair of 12.6-inch diagonal independent touch displays with navigations as well as streaming capabilities to play games, music, and videos through HDMI or USB inputs. The screen can also mirror Android smartphones. The passengers can also send destination suggestions. So if you're sitting as a passenger in the back of an Escalade and you feel like, I want to go there, I want to have a snack there, or I want to get an ice cream or something like that, you can just type in the destination where you want to go on the screen that's in front of you and send it to the driver, so he knows where the passengers want to go without you having to verbally say where you want to go. The 2021 Cadillac Escalade is also available with the Super Cruise driver assistance technology. It enables hands-free driving on more than 200,000 miles of highways in the United States and Canada using LiDAR map data, GPS, and a network of cameras and radar sensors. The Cadillac Escalade has also grown on the inside and offers more room for passengers and their cargo than the previous models. It offers 40% more third row legroom and 68% increase in maximum cargo space behind the third row in the standard length model. This increase in interior space is due primarily to a longer wheelbase and a longer overall vehicle length compared to the previous model, as well as the new independent rear suspension, which enables a lower interior floor, and that of course creates more space on the inside. So what powers this small apartment on wheels, which is the Escalade? Let's talk about the engines in this new Escalade. Well, you have two choices. A new 6.2 V8 is offered as standard with variable timing, stop start, and dynamic fuel management technologies. It balances performance for 20 horsepower with comparative efficiency. And for the first time ever, you can have the Cadillac Escalade with a 3-liter diesel engine which is designed to produce a consistent torque across the power band for improved trailering capabilities. Its 460 pound-feet of peak torque is the same that you get with a 6.2 liter V8, and both engines are matched with a 10-speed automatic transmission with electronic shift control. Now let's talk about the design. Here's what Cadillac themselves say about the design of the new Escalade. So the Escalade has always made a bold statement that says, "You've arrived," says Therese Pinazzo, exterior design manager. We have updated the statement for a new era, adding layers of sophistication. The goal was to create a new Escalade that is unmistakable at a glance and then rewards you with greater detail on the second and even third read. So what this means is that when you first see the Escalade coming around the corner or something like that, you should immediately know that that's an Escalade. But then when you look at it closer and you see it coming closer to you and pass you by, you get rewarded by these small details in the design and the sophistication, as they say. I understand what they mean, and I honestly think that Escalade achieves this because there are a lot of small details in this design that you have to look close to really notice and see. The Escalade maintains Cadillac's signature vertical lighting element, but the new interpretation adds a sleek horizontal headlamp to reinforce a broad, confident stance. And I prefer these horizontal headlights compared to the previous vertical ones. The tall vertical rear light signature continues, but adds deep 3-dimensional layers and finishes with detailed etching. 22-inch wheels are standard on the 2021 Escalade, and it comes with, for the first time, a sport trim featuring a black mesh grille and black trim across the interior. And to me, I think that is the trim that I would pick for this 2021 Escalade. I think it looks great blacked out. I'm not a huge fan of chrome, but I guess if there was any car today that I would feel, okay with having some chrome on it, it would probably be the Cadillac Escalade, because it's such a typical big American SUV that some chrome on it just feels right on the Escalade. However, I would still pick the sport trim package with the black exterior for this car. All right, so now let's talk about what really matters with this new Escalade, and that is of course the design of the car. So here we have the front view, and here we have Rosie as well. But let's compare the 2015 front view that we have on top here with the new 2021 Escalade at the bottom. The thing here is I want to take some features of the 2015 and apply it to the 2021. The main feature being this massive surface that we have right here in the front, this rectangle here. There is nothing going on there, and I want to break that up with some interesting lines, maybe some intake, some additional thin intake or graphics or something to just break up this line, because the Escalade, yes, I know it's supposed to be a very boxy car, and that's totally fine. I actually like this style of car. The Yukon, the Tahoe, and the Escalade. This specifically to me feels like Gotham City, almost like some Art Deco feel inside of this design, and I really like that. So what I want to take from the 2015 model and apply it to the 2021 is this part right here. You can see that they actually added some chamfers on here and some interesting lines, even though I'm not a fan of how this line just abruptly ends there. So that is something that I would change on the old design. And I'm not a fan of the squareness of the graphics in the front, and that goes for the new one as well. But the thing that I enjoy with the old one that they did well is they even added a tiny chamfer here. And as you know, I'm a fan of chamfers, specifically this one, because it adds some interesting features. There is not a lot going on, but you can still work with some graphical details, such as chamfers and such as some air intakes and stuff like that, to make it look more interesting and break up large surfaces where nothing goes on, like this surface right here. So what I want to do here is very simple. I just want to take this part right here. So they did add a chamfer to this design. You can see that right here, but it's body colored, so it's the same color as the body, and it blends in. And especially if you have a white car, you can't really tell that there is anything going on here. So what I would like to do is to simply take a part of this mesh right here. I'm gonna do this in real time because it's not gonna take a lot of time to do these tiny changes. But I'm taking this and just apply it to this surface right here. And now also let's do the same thing, of course, on the other side, because we want to have some symmetry in here. Otherwise it's gonna look super weird. Just move it over here, squeeze it in and make it smaller, and then we have the far side complete as well. Now I can't leave it like this because, you know, if you add a piece like this to a design, you need to think about the whole component of the piece, what holds it together and so on. So I can't just leave it like this, but what I'm gonna do is just very quickly add some outline to this new piece that we added here. So there we go. That's one of the tiny changes that I want to make the front a little bit more interesting than just having a bunch of square elements put together. This is what it looked like before, and this is just the tiny change that we made by adding some air intakes there. Now, another thing that I really want to do on the new model is to separate the headlights and give them some depth, and you do that by adding a chamfer underneath the headlights. So let's do that real quick and see how that is going to turn out on the same layer here. Since it's facing upwards, of course it's going to have to be brighter than the rest of the car. Just a tiny chamfer like this. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but chamfers, just to me at least, when you add chamfers, it automatically steps up the design one step, if that makes sense, by just adding some tiny chamfers to the design. It just makes it feel more complete, and it gives definition and confidence to the overall design of the car. It just makes it look like I actually meant to put the headlight here, and it frames the graphical elements of the car. So that's the change. The second change that I want to do, two tiny changes that I personally think make a big difference to this design. So here we have the stock Escalade like that, and then we have the tiny changes that we just made right there. Rosie, hey, come on. So now what we're going to do the exact same thing on the rear view. We're gonna look at the 2015 and then compare it with the 2020 and see the differences there. So here we are, we have the 2015 as usual on the top, and then we have the 2021 on at the bottom here. So there is not a lot of changes made to the rear graphics of this car, but the changes that were made are pretty substantial when it comes to how you perceive this design. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You see, in the 2015, you have this line right here, and this is the only line that kind of defines the trunk of the car. Other than that, you just have massive spaces all over here, massive surfaces with nothing going on. But then you have these two lines here that gives it some definition and comes out from the bumpers right here. I suppose it's supposed to be this surface right here continuing into the deck lid of the car. But the thing here is that this line doesn't connect. So you only have it stretching from this point to this point, and then from the same on that side, and that is fine. It looks cool. But if you look at the new 2021 model here, you can see that you have a bunch of new lines and creases stretching across the width of the Escalade itself. That will make it look more wide than it is. It's already a very wide vehicle, but when you add stuff like this graphically, without you even noticing it, it will make you feel like it's wider than it is. And another thing that I really like about the change here is you see on this 2015, this crease here facing this way. So the lines go from the bottom to the top, they go outwards like this. But on the new 2021, you have them the opposite way. And what that does is it gives more stance in the rear than if you have it like this. And it just makes the Escalade in the rear look more planted. And as I said, there are a lot of new lines that stretches all across now from side to side, which I really like. And I also like the new bumper that is a little bit smoother than the old one. You can see the hard edges and corners all around this old bumper, but in the new one, they're kind of smoother. And another big change that is reintroduced now in 2021 is the exposed exhaust. So this has been, the last few years, luxury cars, they kind of took that feature away and it became less and less normal, especially for luxury vehicles of this sort, to have exposed exhaust pipes. But I guess right now it's coming back and I think it looks good. They're square. I mean, what else would you expect them to be? It's an Escalade, everything is square on this. And I kinda guess like this little dip that goes here in the line for the windows. It creates some more interesting things to look at and to examine when you look at this car. Another thing that I actually put in my redesign from last summer is I felt like this trim piece needed to be moved down to this point right here, and they actually did that on this redesign, which I'm glad they did, because it brings the graphical weight of the car, it brings it down and it just simply looks better. And those are my thoughts on the new 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Let me know what you think about this SUV in the comments below. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about the design and the function and the styling and everything about this new car. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button, it really means a lot to me, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm the Sketch Monkey, take care, and I will see you in the next video.